Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Tres Leches cake, as in 3 milk cake, is very popular in my house. So I tried this time with a coconutty twist and it turned out super delicious. When you sink your teeth in that cake, it melts in your mouth. Before we move to the recipe, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing because we post new recipes every week. So click that bell icon. Let's get started. For the cake, we need 1.5 cups of flour, 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, put it in a sieve, a pinch of salt. Now sieve everything so there is no lumps of baking powder. Mix everything with a fork and set it aside. We need 2 eggs. Make sure the eggs are always room temperature when you're baking a cake. Whisk the egg with a fork and set it aside. We need 1/2 cup of butter for this cake. Make sure the butter is softened, as in when you press with a finger, it should leave a mark without melting. Break down the butters with a whisk. We need 1 cup of sugar for this recipe. I'll add the sugar in 2 batches. I like to mix the butter and sugar roughly. Even if you're using an electric whisk, I recommend mixing the butter and sugar this way. That way when you turn on your beater, it won't fly all over the kitchen. I'm using the creaming technique of cake making. This way the cake will be light and fluffy. You need to mix the butter and sugar until the sugar is dissolved. I will add the beaten egg in 3 batches because if you try to add all together, it will become a soupy mess and it won't mix properly. So little at a time. Add 1 teaspoon vanilla essence to mask the flavor of egg. Time to mix the flour mixture. I'll mix the flour in 3 batches to make it easier to mix. I'm using a spatula. I don't want to destroy the air bubbles I created so far. I'll add 1/2 cup milk in 2 batches. So it goes like once you put the dry ingredients, then you mix the wet, then dry, then wet like this. And make sure you don't whisk vigorously because you just need to fold it in. So I'm basically scraping the sides and putting everything in the middle slightly. I don't want to rush. Take your time because if you rush and if you whisk faster, the air pocket is gonna burst and the cake will be flat and dense. I have finished putting all the wet and dry ingredients in the cake, and the cake batter also looks roughly mixed. That's what we want. I'm using an 8 by 8 inch cake pan. I need to line up, so I'm cutting the parchment paper in 4 corners like this so it will be easy to fold it in. Pour the cake batter in the prepared baking pan. The cake batter is lumpy, which is the ideal consistency of a cake batter. Spread the cake batter in the pan with the spatula and try to smooth the top for an even baking as much as possible. Our cake looks ready to bake. Let's move on to the baking steps. You can either bake this cake in the stove top. For that, heat a pan and wire rack for 10 minutes on medium heat. Turn the heat to low and bake the cake for 40 to 50 minutes. Or you can preheat an oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for 30 to 40 minutes until a skewer or knife inserted comes out clean. The cake looks baked perfectly. It's spongy, so I'm going to turn it upside down on a cooling rack. Take off the parchment. Look how soft the cake is. Cool the cake until room temperature. Now this step is optional, you can skip it if you don't want, but I prefer cutting off the sides, especially if it's a tres leches cake, to make it look beautiful. Once the cake is cold enough, poke holes with a fork. This is essential for tres leches cake as you need to have as many holes to absorb the liquid through this cake. Time for the tres leches. I have half cup coconut milk, 1/4 cup evaporated milk. This is my homemade. I'll post the link in the description box. 1/4 cup condensed milk. This is my homemade condensed milk. I take 2 cups of milk, boil it, add half cup sugar and keep stirring until it becomes 1 cup and thick. If you want, I can post the recipe. Just let me know in the comment box below. Pour in the condensed milk and the evaporated milk in the coconut milk and stir with a spoon until combined. That's it. This is tres leches or 3 milk. Time to put those holes we created in work. Take spoonfuls of tres leches and pour it over the cake. You will see the liquid is disappearing as the cake is absorbing all those beautiful liquids. Make sure to pour the liquid on the corner and edges of the cake as they tend to be more stiff. Even if the liquid is pooling up around the cake, don't worry, with time the cake is gonna absorb all those liquids. Wrap the cake with aluminum foil and keep it in the fridge overnight or for at least 2 hours. I kept it overnight and the cake is ready. I will use 1 cup coconut cream as topping. The recipe to make this coconut cream is also linked in the description box below, so make sure you check it out. I'm not using any sugar for the cream as there is enough of sugar in the cake. I will just use as it is. But if you want sweetness, you can absolutely add sugar. Spread the cream with a spatula over the cake in thick layer, or you can use a piping bag to decorate the cake as you see fit, but usually the tres leches cake is plain. Look how tasty that looks, but I'll add one last finishing touch to this cake. I'm using store-bought unsweetened shredded coconut to top off this cake. Sprinkle all over the cake in layers. That's it. The beautiful coconut tres leches cake is ready. It looks so beautiful, it tastes even better, I guarantee. Cut the cake in square pieces. I make about 9 pieces out of this cake and serve. This beautiful Latin American tres leches cake becomes more mouthwatering when it's paired with the tropical coconut twist. For your convenience, the full written details of this recipe is available in our Facebook page and Instagram account linked in the description box below. Enjoy this light, fluffy, delicious cake that is moist from the tres leches and is topped up with a coconutty cream which melts in your mouth. If you like this awesome cake recipe, don't forget to put a thumbs up, share with your family and friends, and subscribe to stay tuned for more awesome recipes. See you next time. Stay safe.